It's 5 months now. 5 months since Nancy Guthrie walked into her own home in Tucson, Arizona, and according to investigators, was never seen again by the people who loved her. And just this week, a new message landed. Not from police, not from the FBI, from the person investigators believe may be connected to her disappearance. Before we get to that message, let's slow down and go back to where this started. Nancy Guthrie is 84 years old. She's described in reporting as an octogenarian, a mother, a grandmother, and the parent of Savannah Guthrie, the co-host of NBC's Today Show. According to the Pima County Sheriff's Department, Nancy was dropped off at her home on the evening of January 31st. She was reported missing the next day, after she failed to show up at church. Picture that for a second. A Sunday morning, a pew with an empty seat where a woman usually sits. A family starting to call her phone over and over, getting nothing back. Since then, the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI have released footage of a masked person at Nancy's front door, the last known visual record connected to the night she vanished. No face, no name. Just a hooded figure, caught by a home camera, standing where a family's whole world would soon fall apart. A reward of more than $1 million has been offered by Nancy's family and the FBI for information leading to her safe recovery. $1 million. That's how much this family wants her back. That would have been the story on its own. A missing grandmother, a community search, a reward. But then the messages started. TMZ, of all outlets, became the place where they landed. TMZ has received several emails from someone claiming to know the identities of Nancy's kidnappers, and according to the outlet, they've been able to trace a pattern connecting them. TMZ says it authenticated the messages as coming from the same person, citing matching details, including a Bitcoin address and an alias used in prior correspondence. Think about that detail for a moment. A Bitcoin address. Someone is treating a missing woman's fate like a financial transaction, negotiating from the shadows while her daughter sits behind a news desk on national television, unable to say what's really happening at home. Nancy has now been missing for 5 months, with no suspect named and no motive confirmed. But the emails kept coming. And back in early February, one of the earlier messages, according to NBC News reporting, suggested something no family wants to hear, that Nancy may have already died. That's the backdrop for the message that surfaced most recently. In the new email, the sender claims to have video of the main guy and Nancy together on the day she may have died. He claims there are 2 kidnappers involved, something he's said before. And then comes the line that gave this whole chapter its name. I have a phone stashed in a secure location, guaranteeing both the information it stores and the safety of the phone, the email reportedly reads. What it contains is my definition of delivering them on a silver platter. A short video of the main guy with Nancy the day that was probably her last. Pictures of both involved, names and addresses and age. A silver platter. That's the phrase this person chose. Not a confession, not a cry for help. A presentation, like he's serving something up for an audience. He also seems to respond to a detail TMZ had reported earlier, that the FBI believes the writer of these emails might be a woman. He pushes back on that, writing, I am not the idiot who recently called in a tip about her burial site in Mexico. Read that sentence again. He's not just claiming information, he's correcting the record on other tips and other theories, like he's the one steering this whole investigation from wherever he's hiding. TMZ says it sent the email directly to the FBI. Whether it's genuine, whether it's someone chasing attention, or whether it's something in between, remains unclear. Details on the sender's identity have not been confirmed by law enforcement, but here's what's left hanging in the air tonight. If this person really does have a phone hidden away with names, faces, and a final video of Nancy Guthrie, why hasn't he handed it over? What is he actually waiting for? Let's talk about the contradictions, because there are several, and they matter. Go back to February. According to NBC News, a second ransom note was sent to the media after Nancy's disappearance, and this one indicated she had already died. The note reportedly said she was buried with nature. Buried with nature. Sit with that phrase for a second. It's not a location. It's not a confession with details police could act on. It's vague, almost poetic, the kind of language someone might choose if they wanted to suggest an ending without actually giving investigators anything to follow. That would have been the end of it. One more grim claim in a case already full of them. But another detail stood out. According to Yahoo News, reporting on comments from former FBI agent Jennifer Coffindaffer, the newest message, the silver platter one, reads differently in tone from the note that came before it. Coffindaffer told NewsNation Prime that she believes the shift is deliberate. Her theory, whoever is behind these messages may be trying to reframe what happened, from a kidnapping into something closer to an accident. Her reasoning, as reported, comes down to Arizona law. A kidnapping that ends in death can carry the death penalty. An accidental death, in the eyes of someone trying to survive prosecution, sounds far less final. They didn't want her to die before they could make the claim and send proof of life and get their ransom. So this went horribly wrong for them, Coffindaffer said, according to Yahoo. And then she added something that landed heavier than anything else in her interview. So I do really believe that, unfortunately, Nancy Guthrie is not with us. A former federal agent, speaking on national television, saying out loud what a family has likely feared privately for months. But here's where it gets complicated. Not everyone is convinced these messages are real. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos addressed the newest letter directly during a radio appearance, and he did not hold back. He called it a hoax. I think the FBI has done a number of arrests for false or fake ransom notes, Nanos said. It's a shame that that happens, but I think we're looking at another one of those today. Think about what that means for a family already living in limbo. One expert says the tone of this note suggests someone trying to dodge a death sentence, which implies the person is real and involved. The lead sheriff on the case says it's likely fake, one more cruel hoax layered onto real grief. Two very different reads on the exact same words. Nanos didn't stop there. He talked about the cost of these kinds of messages, hoax or not. People who call in fake ransom notes, people who claim for the sake of media and the family, they get out and disturb, in this case, an entire neighborhood, he said. An entire neighborhood, disturbed, because somewhere out there, someone with a keyboard and a Bitcoin wallet decided this family's tragedy was worth toying with. Now here's the emotional beat, the part of this story that's hard to say plainly. During all of this, Savannah Guthrie has continued going to work. She has continued sitting behind the Today Show desk, on camera, in front of millions of people, most mornings. But according to reporting picked up by The Blast and other outlets, amid the back and forth over these letters, Savannah broke character on air during a recent episode, a rare crack in the composure she's kept through 5 months of not knowing. We don't have the exact words she said in that moment confirmed here, and we won't guess at them. But picture the position she's in, reporting the news for a living, while being, quite literally, part of one of the biggest unsolved stories in the country, reading headlines about her own mother, interviewing guests about unrelated tragedies, knowing that somewhere an anonymous account is emailing a tabloid claims about her mother's final day. Coffindaffer, in that same NewsNation interview, said something else worth noting. She suggested investigators may be closer to an answer than the public realizes. Behind the scenes, it's red hot, she said. We just can't see everything going on by these investigators. There is so much. Red hot, and yet nothing has been confirmed. No arrest, no name, no official statement calling any of these emails genuine. So now we're left with two competing versions of the same moment. In one, a guilty person is quietly trying to build himself an excuse before he's caught. In the other, a stranger with no real connection to Nancy Guthrie is exploiting a grieving family for attention, or worse, for money. Which one is true? And if investigators really are close, as Coffindaffer claims, why hasn't that silver platter phone turned into an arrest? Here's the truth, and it's not the ending anyone wants for a story like this. As of now, there is no arrest. There is no confirmed suspect. There is no video that's been publicly verified, no phone that's been handed over, no name attached to the account sending these emails to TMZ. What we have instead is a family living inside a question mark for 5 months. A daughter going to work every day in front of cameras while her own mother's case plays out in tabloid emails. A sheriff calling the latest letter a hoax. A former federal agent saying, on the record, that she believes Nancy is already gone. And an anonymous sender who keeps typing, keeps referencing Bitcoin, keeps promising evidence he has never actually produced. According to reporting, TMZ forwarded the newest email straight to the FBI, the same as it has with previous messages. That's where the real answers, if there are any, will eventually come from. Not from a tabloid inbox. Not from a former agent's television appearance. From an investigation that Coffin Daffer describes as red-hot behind the scenes, even if nothing has surfaced publicly yet. What happens next, according to available reporting, likely depends on whether investigators can trace that email account, that Bitcoin address, and that alias back to an actual person. TMZ says the details have matched across multiple messages, which suggests either a single individual who keeps making mistakes or someone who wants to be traceable enough to be believed, but not traceable enough to be caught. There's a reward of more than $1 million still standing, offered by Nancy's family and the FBI, for information leading to her safe recovery. That reward hasn't been claimed. The tip line set up by the Pima County Sheriff's Department is still open. And Nancy Guthrie, 5 months later, is still simply gone, with a family that has to hold two realities in their hands at once. The story that says there's still hope, and the story a former FBI agent said out loud, that there might not be. We don't know which one is true. Nobody watching this does either. And we should be honest, that anyone who tells you they know for certain what happened to Nancy Guthrie, without an arrest or an official confirmation behind it, is guessing, the same as the rest of us. So here's a question worth sitting with before you go. If you were Savannah Guthrie, would you want these emails made public the way they have been? Every detail dissected online, every word picked apart by strangers? Or would you rather these messages stayed with the FBI, quiet, until there was something real to say? Let us know what you think in the comments. If you want to stay with us as this case develops, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because when something changes here, and eventually something will, we'll be the ones bringing it to you first.